Welcome to PMP Exam Practice. Part 6. If you are new here, we highly recommend watching the quick intro video on how to study for scenario-based questions from these videos with the help of Excel sheets and YouTube timestamps, plus some quick easy tips before your exam day. Link in the description. The time limit given is about 1 minute for each answer. If you are new to this video, we recommend that you keep it playing and listen to each explanation to fully understand the scenario and the appropriate choice. If this is a review, then mute the sound, use the timestamp to navigate between the questions, and train yourself to read and answer each question in 1 minute. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for new exam updated questions. Good luck!
A project manager on a large construction project. The project manager had originally planned to use both companies' tower cranes simultaneously for a project but has just learned that one of them will be unavailable. Project manager adjusts the schedule so that the components are created sequentially using the one remaining tower crane. Unfortunately, this action affects the critical path and delays the planned finish date of the project. Which of the following techniques has been used by project manager in this situation? A. Critical path method. B. Reserve analysis. C. Resource leveling. D. Fast tracking. The answer is C. Resource leveling is a resource optimization technique in which starting and finishing dates are adjusted based upon resource constraints with the goal of balancing the demand for the resources with the available supply. Resource leveling can often cause the original critical path to change, that is what happened in the scenario described. Adjusting the schedule in order to accommodate the loss of one of the tower crane is an example of resource leveling. You are running 1 week behind on a project due to late delivery by a vendor. You are forced to compress your project schedule due to a government-mandated end date that constrains your project. After meeting with your team, you found a method to compress the project without adding more resources or increase the project cost. This is an example of which of the following? A. Crashing. B. Fast tracking. C. Risk mitigation. D. Resource leveling. The answer is B. Fast tracking. A schedule compression technique in which activities or phases are normally done in the series is performed in parallel for at least a portion of their duration without adding more resources or increasing the project cost. You are the project manager of a large IT project. During the implementation phase, you sign a contract to rent an additional server from a local company because of the possibility that the main server may fail due to constant, local area electrical outages. As a project manager, what strategy are you using? A. Mitigate. B. Escalate. C. Avoid. D. Transfer. The answer is A. In risk mitigation, the action is taken in order to decrease the probability of occurrence and/or effect of a threat. The project manager wants to decrease the probability and impact by renting the server. As a project manager, you know the importance of risk management. You always try to include risk management as an agenda item in your status meetings. Some of your project team members complain that discussing risk management issues in status meetings is a waste of time because none of the risks identified on the project so far have actually occurred. What should you do in this situation? A. Escalate to your senior management that some of your team members do not agree with your risk management practices. B. Agree with your team members and let them know that no more time will be spent on discussing risks in the project status meetings unless required in the future. C. Call a meeting with your project sponsor and project management team to discuss potential training requirements for your project team members. D. Talk to your team members about the importance of risk management. The answer is D. Project risk management should be a schedule item at periodic status meetings. The amount of time required for that item will vary depending on the risks that have been identified, their priority, and difficulty of planning an appropriate response. But completely avoiding discussion on project risks is not suitable. Organizations should be committed to addressing risks proactively throughout the project life cycle. A project manager is facilitating a first brainstorming session to identify individual risks as well as sources of overall project risk. The meeting attendees are struggling with the task, and the meeting is becoming unproductive. What action might the project manager take to get the meeting back on track? A. Call in the project sponsor. B. Consult the risk register. C. Use the RBS as a prompt list. D. Adjourn the meeting. The answer is C. The question suggests that the distinguish risks process is underway. Prompt lists represent one of the tools and techniques associated with this process. A prompt list is a predetermined list of risk categories that might give rise to individual project risks, and that could also act as sources of overall project risk. The prompt list can be applied as a framework to aid the project team in idea generation when using risk identification techniques. The risk categories in the lowest level of the risk breakdown structure, RBS, can be used as a prompt list for individual project risks. You are a project manager in an IT project. You and key stakeholders start conducting a project benefit analysis. Because of the solutions that have not been identified, an engineer from another department has informed you that there are affected systems. As a project manager, what should you do? A. Document the issue in the issue log. B. Review the project benefit analysis to consider the additional impact. C. Identify all stakeholders. D. Update the risk register. The answer is A. The issue log is a project document used to recognize and monitor issues that occur in the project. The issue log can be updated with any new issues found during the project and described in the scenario because of the solutions that have not been identified causing the system are affected, making this choice the best answer to the question asked. You are managing a construction project. Your cost performance is not as planned and your project is over budget. Therefore, you again estimate the cost of the project and find that you will require more money to complete the project. This will require an update of the cost baseline. What will you do? A. Update change log. B. Terminate the project. C. Update the cost baseline. D. Issue the change request. The answer is D. If there is a change that requires an update to the cost baseline, you will raise it, get it approved, and then update the cost baseline. You are a project manager in the execution phase of a residential housing construction project. The project is behind schedule and is missing some materials. The contractor submits an offer to supply the missing materials and reimburse the cost since the internal procurement process will cause more delay. You don't agree with the costs submitted by the contractor for the missing materials. As a project manager, what should you do next? A. Request the contractor to review the offer and reduce the costs. B. Updates the procurement strategy and negotiate with the contractor. C. Meet with the project sponsor and ask to allocate more budget to cover the cost. D. Update the procurement management plan and negotiate with the contractor. The answer is B. The aim of the updated procurement strategy is to determine the project delivery method, the type of legally binding agreements, and how the procurement will advance through the procurement phases. You are the project manager of a large project for your organization. You have recently reported that the project's SPI is 0.85 and the CPI is 1.17. You want to focus that the project is under control in the next project status review. How should the project manager report the project status to key stakeholders? A. Prepare a detailed presentation for stakeholders on earned value, including how it's calculated. B. Report that the project is behind schedule but that an additional experienced resource can be added to stay within schedule and maintain the budget. C. Report that the project is not tracking as expected, but is still under control. D. Use Pareto chart and YY diagram to demonstrate that the project is under control. The answer is B. The project's SPI is 0.85 and the CPI is 1.17. So the project is behind schedule and under budget. The project manager have to report that the project is behind schedule but that an extra experienced resource can be added to stay within schedule and maintain the budget. An organization has historically executed most projects using a predictive approach. The organization now wants to change over to an agile approach. Due to this change, the project manager is worried about the scope definition process for upcoming projects. What should the project manager do to ensure the project scope is completely defined? A. Ask the general manager to review every requirement to ensure that all projects will deliver the required products. B. Meet with the general manager and convince them to return to use the predictive approach to avoid any risk. C. Ask the sponsor to increase a budget to check if every business needs are included in the requirements. D. Help sponsors and stakeholders craft the product vision and bring the team and product owner together to clarify the expectations. The answer is D. To define the scope in an agile approach, the project manager have to help sponsors and stakeholders craft the product vision and get the team and product owner together to explain the expectations.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you always get the latest updated exam questions. For special exam requests, please send us an email. Thank you for watching.